Some of those who are involved in the arts specialize in one area. Others have a passion that blossoms out into several. One of those who's involved here at Perseverance Theater does more than act. She also sings, dances, and choreographs. And it's her interest in these other areas that has sometimes taken her off the stage and into the classroom, where she teaches children dances of other cultures.
I was dancing from the ripe old age of 7. I begged my mother to let me take ballet lessons, which I turned out, and I hated them because they were far too structured for me. You knew exactly what was going to happen next. You knew there was going to be a plie and then a releve, and so I took that for a few years, and then I said, Mom, please, can I take something else? And I started taking jazz, and I loved it. So since I was very little, I've been dancing.
They've been swinging since I don't know when. I'm running on, might not be this way again. So everybody now, get the groove and let the good times roll.
I really discovered ethnic dance in Utah when I was going to school there. And I hadn't had a lot of exposure to different ethnic types of dances in Alaska, and they have a very good theater and dance department there. And I took a workshop. And that, coupled with just an experience of living in a culture very different from my own, where there were very few black people, where people were not exposed to other kinds of cultures, really ignited in me this desire to want to learn more about all the different cultures, but specifically I like ethnic dancing and African dancing because it's very rooted to the ground. And that's one reason I think African dance is a lot of fun, because you really get to use your whole body, and none of the moves that you do are wrong. You can do no wrong in African dancing, so there's nothing to do but have a good time. I have to say that one of my most memorable experiences in Utah would have to be when I was going to college and working in pennies, working my way through college. And I was working one evening in the little girls department, and there was a mother there and her little son who was 4 or 5 years old. And the little boy looked at me, and he opened his mouth and he pointed at me, and he just started crying and screaming hysterically, and everyone stopped and turned around and looked. And the mother went over to him, and the little boy's pointing at me, and he said, Mommy, tell me again why brown people are bad. And it was like shock. I could not believe that this little boy was saying that, but I knew that this was true. I knew that there were actually people telling young people and adults believing that a person was not as good as they were because of the color of their skin. And that was the turning point when I knew that I had to do something. And what I did was the working in the schools and teaching black culture to kids and African dance and letting them know about these other experiences. That's when I first started working with kids in arts and education form, and I knew that at some point I'd like to go back and do that. And for now, working through the Artists in the Schools program and working with the kids in the Juneau School District is fulfilling that for me. I'm being able to go out there and help kids be coordinated and help them. It builds their self-esteem and their confidence, which is so important. And you see these kids who come in like this, and who knows why. Maybe they're having trouble in school, maybe they're having trouble at home, but they just don't feel good about themselves. And they leave my workshops feeling really good about themselves because they can do something. They can remember this routine, and they can work with other kids and do it and do a good job of it and know that they're doing a good job of it. They can look around and see that other people are doing it too and that they're doing it right, and they can be proud of that. And then they go home and they know a new word. They know a Swahili word that they never knew before. They can say hello in Swahili. Jumbo. Left. Jumbo. Right. Jumbo. Jumbo. Good. Now put your hands in the middle and wave to your neighbor across the way. And one more jumbo. Jumbo. Good. Now you remember that word, right? I think that I would like everyone to somehow have exposure to a culture other than their own. If my culture is African or black, then maybe I need to be exposed to the Mexican culture or the Portuguese culture or India or China. And I think I would be most happy if I knew that children especially were going to grow up with an understanding that there's something else out there, and just this taste of intrigue of wanting to find out what that is.
Too good.
Lynette continues to learn about other cultures through her travels to Mexico and Jamaica, where she researched dance and music. Eventually, she plans to study flamenco dancing in Spain. Lynette is a member of the Alaska Conservatory, the acting company of Juneau's Perseverance Theater.
And the thing that makes the theater so unique for me, and this year has been particularly wonderful because they have this, the Alaska Conservatory, a full-time acting company for the first time, is that when I go to audition at Perseverance, I know that I'm being judged solely on my qualifications as a performer, whether or not I can do this role, and that it has nothing to do with my being black or my not being black.
Just give us something that we can hold. A gentleman's jewels, a galleon's gold. We don't want to die under some judge's eye, so make sure they hang us up high. Boys, just make sure they hang us up high.
And it was a great transition to get this opportunity to work full-time in theater. And you never know how long these things are going to last, so I'm enjoying it to the utmost because it could be for 1 year, it could be for 2 years. I don't know if I'll audition again or if I'll get selected again. So I'm really trying to live it show by show and just enjoy the opportunity to make a living as an artist, working with Perseverance, and also later working with the Artists in the Schools program, which should be very exciting. That's a statewide program, and I'll be traveling. This year I'll be going to Anchorage for 7 weeks and working with 7 different schools, teaching African dance. And I do think this is the first time they've had African dance offered.
Right, left, right, the chicken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Lynette encourages everyone to find ways to express themselves through the performing arts. She shows students in the schools that they can dance in a new way and shows everyone that it's possible to take a new skill or fledgling talent and share it with others.
So, I think that people should just jump out there and try it.
Down the way where the nights are gay and the sun shines daily on the mountain top. I took a trip on a sailing ship, and when I reached Jamaica, I made a stop. But I'm sad to say I'm on my way.
So I did go out this summer, myself and Terry Tibbett, a local folk singer, wonderful lady, and her husband Steve Nelson played the piano. And another first, I played the guitar in public for the first time. I'd been working on it all summer and went out and sang a couple of tunes that I'd written and sang and danced and had a great time.
Now get in the groove and let the good times roll. We're gonna stay here till it soothes our soul.
What's the worst thing that can happen? There isn't anything, really. You have fun with it, you share it with your friends, and you achieve something that maybe you've always wanted to do and didn't really think you should do. So if you're inspired to paint or write or dance or sing or any of those things, I think people should just jump in with both feet and both arms and give it a shot.